Hello, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me in another of my monologues. As you can see, I'm out. I'm actually at an event today, so haven't had a chance to make today's video, so this is why today's video is a little late. But I'm out here in the lovely countryside, as you can see. And I've taken a bit of time off at lunchtime to come and talk to you, which is nice. Well, nice for me. Hopefully it's nice for you too. I had a quick check in my emails. By the way, let me just say, if you are emailing me at the moment, I'm going to be a bit behind on my emails. I've got a few places to go to this week, so you may not get a response from me immediately. So please, if you can, hold back to next week, and then I can catch up much more, and you're more likely to get a response. But thank you very much. And by the way, of course, as ever, thanks to all those wonderful people who support the channel. It's about 8 months now we've been demonetized, so no income coming in apart from your incredible donations. So I really appreciate that. Anyway, one of my emailers, Alice her name was, she said, "What do we do, Richard?" Now, I'm not a doctor, so this is not medical advice at all. This is just an opinion. But she said, "What do we do in terms of blood transfusions?" Of course, people are worried, aren't they? Because naturally there's a lot of people out there who've had the vaccine. We know now that the damage that the vaccine is doing, despite that some people are still being encouraged to have their boosters, which is very frightening, I think. But there are going to be situations in which you may have no choice. It'll be a life and death situation. Perhaps it's a road traffic accident, and for whatever reason you need to have a blood transfusion. What are you going to do? You're going to say, no, just let me bleed to death, don't worry about that. And I think that in those situations, and as I say, I've just doubled down, this is not medical advice. You'll need to seek your own advice from the trusted sources that you believe can help you. I think, having had all the different contacts that I do have now, is if it's a life and death situation, you've got to have the blood transfusion. You may not know, of course, the quality of that blood. That is true. But I think these days it's just worth looking into all the different detox and spike protein avoidance methods that are out there. There are a lot of people doing that. You could check out the World Council for Health, for example. They have information on how to get rid of the spike protein. But there are various other things. And one of the things that I continually get messages from different people at the event I'm at today. In fact, someone was telling me tobacco, nicotine from tobacco, whether that's smoking. I smoke a pipe. It's not going to be for everybody. Patches. Patches are very good at disrupting the spike protein. And Dr. Brian Ardis is very much the poster boy at the moment. And you'll find him, do a search, perhaps not on Google, perhaps on some other engine, because you know how these things are being manipulated. But Dr. Brian Ardis is a good chap to go and look up for information about nicotine. You can get it in capsule forms, I understand, but patches, or indeed smoking. Tobacco has been made into a really evil thing, and what surprises me, and I've read several books on this, well, 2 books on this particular subject of how the trials to prove that smoking gives you lung cancer is incredibly biased. There's a book, I've mentioned it before, Smoke Screens by Richard White. There's another book which I only read online. I can't remember the title at the moment, but similar sort of thing, saying that actually this has been so made the evil weed, and yet it's by far not. And the fact that even people, and there will be people, you'll see them writing in the comments saying, "Richard, you can't smoke. You can't say what you're saying because it is bad." But you only know that because that's what you've been told. The doctors have been told, you know, do you smoke? Oh yes, that's going to cause this, that's going to cause that. The nicotine is a disruptor. Now, I'm not suggesting you have to smoke 20 a day or do anything like that, and I'm not advocating anybody to start smoking if you don't. I'm saying that go and do the research yourself and look up what nicotine is good for. That's all I'm saying. I'm not telling people to go and smoke or start anything like that. That would be wrong of me, and I'm not here to do that. I'm not a medical advisor. But what the question made me think, in a life and death situation, if you have to have blood that you're unsure of its purity, then there are many things to do to get rid of the spike protein, and we're all going to have to look at this, because shedding may well be a thing that we need to think about. I never took the jab, but I still smoke, and I enjoy the smoke because nicotine is good for many other things. So I hope that just opens people's minds. I'm not telling people what to do. It is not me asserting anything other than have an open mind. We're often told things by government, by medical people, because that's how they've been trained, that may not be true. They often get it wrong. And just answer this question when it comes to smoking. What other product that's bad for you, supposedly? What other product is there? Like bleach, you wouldn't drink bleach, would you? But alcohol, what other product out there has 50%, if not more, of the labelling in big, ghastly, bold letters telling you to give up? And why, when we know that everything the government tells us, we ought to really think about doing the reverse, because it seems that they don't seem to be our friends anymore, why would they do that if actually perhaps the nicotine isn't as bad as they want you to know? Thank you very much for watching. This is a short video. I shall be back probably tomorrow, hopefully. If you don't hear from me, don't panic. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye for now.